Hello guys. So I'm sitting on a kitchen stool. I literally took it from my kitchen so I could like have this as my backdrop. It's not even a cool backdrop. I just didn't know what else to use. And then when I put my camera on my desk, it was a weird angle. So now I put it on boxes and I'm on a kitchen stool. Anyway, besides the point. I get a lot of the same questions multiple times and I don't mind answering them multiple times, but I thought let's just make one big video and this will be it. So I basically asked people on TikTok for some questions that you wanted to know, and I have them here, and let's just dive into it. So, favorite books recommendations. I feel like you have taste. First of all, don't hype me up like that, okay? But first book recommendation, Every Last Word by Tamara Islandstone. Absolutely love that book. It was the first book I ever read that had any depiction of mental health, and it was like incredible. Like every book that I've read after that that talks about mental illness and mental health doesn't really do it in the same way, and that book is just so good. Second book, The Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo by Taylor Jenkins Reid. That was one of the books that I read recently when I was in a bit of a reading slump, and it pulled me the fuck out of that reading slump. Oh my god, that book is heavenly. Pardon me. Also by Taylor Jenkins Reid, Daisy Jones and the Six. I'm a big lover of Fleetwood Mac, and I feel like that's why I immediately loved the book. But there's just so much to it. It's so complex. The characters are so broken and damaged in such beautiful ways. And yeah, those three books are like the ones that always come to mind. I just read Other People's Clothes, so I'd have to recommend that book because honestly, I said this on TikTok, but it's quite slow paced at the beginning, but then you soon realize it's not slow paced, it's a slow burn. It's like very essential that it goes at that pace. And it just has the biggest twists, and holy shit, I was like, next page, next page, next page, did not leave bed for hours. What else? What's another good book? How many have I done? 4? Okay. I'm looking at my books here. Oh, actually, one book. It was like one of the first books, proper books I ever read. Kenzuki's Kingdom by Michael Morpurgo. Always recommend. I literally haven't read it since I was like early teens, but it just holds such a big place in my heart. In a similar vein, as does The Fault in Our Stars by John Green, because those were the two books that like really got me into reading, and now I read all the time. But I am currently reading The Secret History, and I'm next going to read Ugly Love by Colleen Hoover, in case anyone was wondering. Anyways, best part of London to live in. Ooh, so I like have been looking at places to move to, and like what sort of place I would not settle down because I don't want a family or anything, but like would happily live long term as an older adult. I was gonna say as an adult. You're 23, Mary, you're already an adult. But like I love South Ken, like South Kensington, that sort of area. A lot of people I know love living in Notting Hill. I just don't really like Notting Hill that much. There's nothing wrong with the area. It's just like not my vibe at all. I would love to live in Muswell Hill, but it's very far from everything else. Like this is my thing with South Ken as well. It's quite far from everything else that's in Central. But like Fitzrovia and Soho, obviously. Shoreditch. I'm trying to think where else. If I ever reached a point in my life where I wanted to stay in London but didn't want to be in the heat of it all, I would probably move to like Richmond. It's a really nice area. My dad grew up nearby, and yeah, we like went on a lot of lockdown walks there. So I kind of like Richmond, but it is just very far out. I don't know if it's still in Southwest or it has a Kingston postcode. I think it's still in Southwest. But yeah, those are like my favourite places to live in London. Would I consider going back to uni for a different course in the future? So if you don't know, I dropped out of uni a couple of months ago. I was doing a law degree, and honestly, I haven't like fully committed to dropping out. Like my year is deferred. I can go back in September, but I like at the time I applied to drop out. It wasn't until after some tears and a lot of talks I was like, okay, I'm just going to defer my year. I'm going to give myself this year to figure my shit out. But I'm probably not going to go back. However, I have considered going back for a different course. When I was applying to uni when I was 18 or like 17, whatever, I was kind of stuck between journalism and law. And I just went for law because that's what I had kind of put my whole life towards. I went to law summer schools. I did my law work experience, the whole thing. So if I was going to go back to uni, it would be for journalism or some sort of like creative writing course. Not creative writing in itself, but like journalism, English lit, or politics. Like politics has always been something I'm like, why didn't I just fucking take that degree? Because I loved it so much at A-level and like I'm still so invested in politics. But honestly, you just never really know. I think that's the thing with uni, like you just don't really know until you're there. I didn't think I wouldn't enjoy my degree. Like I thought it would be the best decision I ever made. And like at the time it was, but you grow and you learn and you change. So yeah, where I'm at right now, I'm like, I'm kind of cool like not being at uni right now. If I went to a different uni and applied for a different course, it'd probably be journalism, English lit, or politics. But yeah, I mean, we'll see. There's no expiry date on education, so I don't really feel too like rushed. But yeah, it's something I think about a lot, so. Do you think mental illness and the amount of people suffering could have been lessened in society? I'm not too sure, because I was talking about this the other day. I think that obviously there are statistics that show that like Gen Z have higher rates of mental illnesses in comparison to previous generations. But then sometimes I do think that previous generations may have had the same levels of mental illness that we did. But they just weren't as open with it. And then linking that to the question, it's like, well, those societies were different to the one that we live in today. And so maybe it really isn't, I mean, obviously society has an impact on it, but maybe it's not entirely the way society is, but more so the way the world is. Even though society makes up the world, it's a complicated thing. I haven't taken a sociology class in a while, but I just think that like many people are born with predispositions to mental illnesses, something completely out of their control. And then other people are not born with these predispositions, but then the nature versus nurture argument, their surroundings cause them, or different things in life happen, etc., etc. And so there are ways in which it can't be prevented, because if you want to say it was written in the stars, I don't know. But then there are also things that in society that do have an impact on our mental health. And I think that technology is one of them, for example, which is very unique to our generation. And those things continue to have implications on people's mental health. So yeah, on the one hand, it could have been lessened by society, but also brains are different. Like, these things happen and it sucks that anyone has to suffer in any way, but that's kind of how we are as human beings. And so I don't actually have an answer to that, apart from that long-winded baffle that I just, there's a reason I didn't take a sociology degree. Okay, what's something that would cheer you up on a bad day? Honestly, this is going to sound very cliche if you know me, but taking Abby's Soul Cycle classes when I'm having a bad day is like an immediate fix for me. Obviously, like taking my antidepressants and walking there and like being out in fresh air and stuff like that contribute to that. It's like the whole activity of going to her Soul Cycle class and then leaving feeling like I can conquer the world. But also like going out for coffee with my dad and like just talking about life and like being very open about how I feel in that day. And also seeing my best friend Sophie. I feel like whenever I see her, life just feels a little lighter and brighter. And reading a good book. Sometimes I like to read to completely escape whatever I'm going through. I've been reading a lot recently. But yeah, I love when I pick up a book and I don't want to put it back down. And I feel like just for a minute I can live in someone else's world, and my world just feels a little easier to carry because I don't have to deal with it in that moment. So yeah, I don't know. There are like tiny things in life that make the bad days easier. But sometimes when you're having a bad day, it's not easy to remember that. It's like you just want to sit in bed and wallow in your own misery, which like I completely understand. My favorite songs, name 5 spontaneously. Okay, 1, Make Love Like a Man by Def Leppard. 2, Garden Song by Phoebe Bridgers. I don't know what just happened. 3, Boys Don't Cry by The Cure. 4, Kiwi by Harry Styles. 5, Smoking by Boston. There we go. I was panicking. At the age of 50 and you look back to the years leading up, one main thing you wanted to have achieved. Okay. I think the biggest thing for me is my goal with any life, career, goal, whatever, has always been to make someone know that they're not alone. And I wouldn't say like I've completely achieved all my life goals, but I do feel like with my TikTok and with my podcast and hopefully now even my YouTube channel, like I've done that in some way. But I just want to keep doing it. Like, even when I wanted to become a lawyer, I was like, I'm doing it so somebody knows that somebody's fighting for them. I'm doing it so somebody knows that they're not alone. When I, like, heavily considered journalism, I was like, I want to tell stories that show other people that their world is okay. Their world is normal. Like, other people experience things that they've gone through, and other people perceive things and view the world in similar ways to them. That's always been a big thing for me. I think because like I hate saying this, but like I felt really lonely as a child, so I have always just wanted to do things to make sure other people know that the world isn't as lonely as it can feel sometimes. And I think that's like a big reason I started my TikTok. Well, not even a big reason, like that is the reason I started my TikTok. It was in the middle of the last lockdown. And I was so in my own head, and I was like, this is never going to end, and I am so alone. And I was like, surely somebody else has to feel this way. And I made a video about it, and like, here we are, a year later. And like, people messaged me saying, like, you made me realize I wasn't alone, and like, that's all I've ever wanted to do. And so I feel like in 50, well, when I'm 50, not in 50 years' time, I can look back and say, like, I did that. Like, I did the damn thing. That was what I wanted to do, but like, I'm not done. Like, in no way, shape, or form am I done. Like, I know there is so many wide-scale opportunities that I can strive for that can expand my vision of making people feel like they're not alone. I just need to figure them out. But yeah, I think I've achieved it. And then, like, on a materialistic, is that a word? Yeah. On a materialistic level, I, like, want to be able to say, like, oh, I paid my parents back for everything. And obviously that's something that's, like, I don't think it's practical to do. Like, I don't think it's something that they can write me a check unless they've got, like, a book of everything I've ever spent. But, like, they can't say, okay, this is the exact figure. But, you know, like, I owe them a lot. And I'm so grateful every day for what they do for me. And so I want to be able to look back at my life and be like, yeah, I feel like I gave back to them what they gave to me. Not that, like, you owe your parents anything, but that's just something I've always wanted to do. So, yeah. Okay, so the next question is, how do you handle panic attacks or anxiety attacks? I don't get them as frequently anymore. I used to get them a lot in school, and I never knew what they were, so I couldn't handle them. And I was getting them for a really long time and not knowing what was going on. Like, for ages I thought I just had a breathing problem, and then I was getting like really bad panic attacks at night, and I like physically couldn't breathe, and my parents took me to the hospital and they were like, there's nothing wrong with her. And obviously, like, physically there wasn't anything wrong with me, but that was kind of when I was made aware of what was going on. It was my sixth form head of year who actually told me what was going on, and I was like, oh, that's what this is. That's this. Okay, got it. So I never really handled it until I was about 17 because I didn't know what it was. It was just like really scary, and I just thought I had a breathing problem. But now I just tend to like leave whatever situation I'm in. I really don't like crying in front of other people, and I tend to like cry if I'm extremely panicking. So I just say like, hey, like I gotta go to the toilet or I gotta do whatever. I splash cold water on my face. Don't give a fuck if I'm wearing makeup. Splash cold water on my face. And like try and count to 5 over and over again. The whole like, you know, listing things you see and hear, blah, blah, blah. Like, obviously that does work, but I think it's so much easier said than done. If you don't have someone that's next to you reminding you to list all your senses, it can be really, like, the last thing you think of. But counting is, like, so much easier to remember to do. And I actually find that a lot of the remedies for my heart condition help with my panic attacks. So like with my heart condition, like when I was discharged from the children's hospital that I was at, they were like to me, okay, like, you know, this isn't your point of contact anymore. It's going to be a lot harder to get an appointment, blah, blah, blah. So these are some techniques you can use. And it was like, put ice on your face and count to 5 and like suck your thumb and breathe out and things like that. And that really helped with my panic attacks. But I think with the years going by and my anxiety in some way getting better, it actually becomes harder to handle them when they become less frequent because it kind of takes you by surprise. So it's still a journey. I wouldn't say I've completely handled them. And like when I do have them, I get very shocked because I'm like, I don't actually know what's happening. And I'm like, oh, yeah, okay, having a panic attack. But like I'm very lucky that I have people around me that are like easy on me when that's happening. But yeah, I hope that helps. That was kind of bad. But also like everybody's different. Like something that could work for me could be like the last thing you would think of during a panic attack. So yeah, I mean, try them. But I'm also like not a doctor. Do I have a fave episode of New Girl? Yes, I do have a fave episode of New Girl. And it's when Jess and Nick kiss. I am such a slut for that episode. Like, I will simply just watch that episode on repeat. It's just, oh, I just love them. I'm such a hopeless romantic. And like, that episode is just so, just makes my heart beam with joy. Like, it's just, oh, I love it. Okay, next question is, what are the things that make you feel your true self? And what makes you happiest? I'd say the things that make me feel my true self are like reading. I always feel like when I'm reading, I'm never trying to impress anybody. Working out, 100%, like any form of working out, running, spinning, swimming, like any type of working out makes me feel like my true self and also makes me feel extremely happy. I think one thing that other people would say where they feel happiest and like on a material level, material girl, but is shopping, whereas like I hate shopping. I hate shopping. The only time I enjoy shopping is Boxing Day. I hate shopping. I cry nearly every time I go shopping. It's just, oh, I just hate it so much. I also think like my body dysmorphia comes into play when I go shopping, so I really don't like going. But yeah, working out, reading, drinking coffee, and like walking through the city on a Sunday morning, like first thing on a Sunday morning when no one's there. Because if you're not from London, it's like, when I say the city, I'm not referring to the whole of London. I'm referring to a specific part of London that's called the city. And it's basically like all offices and banks and like finance groups and stuff. And it's only like lively Monday to Friday. Like all the restaurants in the city are shut on Saturdays and Sundays. All the coffee shops are shut. So when you go like first thing on a Sunday morning, it's so empty, but it's also like London, so it's absolutely beautiful, and it puts my mind at so much ease, and it's like a quick walk to the river, and it's just like, yeah, it makes me feel very grateful that I was born and raised in London, and I can just walk over to see that whenever I want. Yeah. Okay, someone said, what age did you start your antidepressants? I actually started my antidepressants when I was 22. I am now 23, but yeah, I only started them in like March of last year. It's crazy that that was last year. Oh my god. Wait, hang on, we're nearly in March again. Oh my god, it's nearly been a year since I started my antidepressants. But yeah, I haven't been on them long. I was very fortunate that my parents were kind of like, fine, like, you need to be on them. But like growing up, they were kind of against them. So even when doctors and psychologists and therapists and stuff suggested them, my parents were always like, no, 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 no. But I'm an adult now, like they couldn't really say you can't go on them. But yeah, I started when I was 22, and now I'm 23, and I'm 24 this year. Ooh, gross. That is a scary thought. And then someone else said, so do antidepressants work? I think they do. Like, the thing is, like, they definitely work, but they don't get rid of depression. Like, I'm obviously not crying every day like I was before. I have more motivation to go out and socialize, but like I still have really bad days. And I think that's a really weird thing with antidepressants, because it kind of becomes this thing of like, well, why aren't you happy now? You're on antidepressants. Why aren't you happy? Why are you not fixed? Bitch, I don't know. What? Like, I don't know. That's not how it works. Like, sertraline was definitely the best decision of my life. Like, absolutely love being on antidepressants. I'm so, so grateful. But, you know, there's a lot going on up here, and it can't fix it all. It's done a lot. The antidepressants are putting in the work, okay? But, yeah, it's easy to think that they'll cure everything, and that's just, like, unrealistic. There's a lot of other factors that need to come into play. Like, I am refusing therapy at the moment, but I probably should be in therapy. So, yeah. Okay, how to get rid of imposter syndrome. I just started a new job and I feel so uncomfortable with it all. I know I'm qualified, but not, if that makes sense. First of all, like, so proud of you. Congrats on your new job. I get this all the time. Like, I live my life in constant imposter syndrome. I think the biggest thing is that you have to sit down with yourself and let yourself know that you are deserving of it, because I feel like it comes from a place of insecurity and like invalidation, and that can be taught, or it can just be something that we feel. I think most times it's taught, but sometimes you do just have to sit down and say, like, I'm gonna keep telling myself that I deserve the position that I'm in, that I have every right to be here the same as everybody else, that I have got this place on merit because I'm valuable, because I'm worth it, because I need to be here. And honestly, like, it's so cringy, but the more you speak to yourself in a positive light, and the more you affirm these things with yourself, the more you'll believe it. And like, I have like a really cool tomorrow. Does everyone get what I'm trying to say? Like a call that is cool. Anyway, have that tomorrow, and I have such bad imposter syndrome about it, because like, don't know why my camera just stopped filming, but oh my god, wait, no, I'm gonna check that this actually filmed, because if it didn't, I'm gonna jump off a cliff. I'm gonna jump off a cliff. Okay, it did record. Sorry if the shot is different, because I had to, like, whatever. Imposter syndrome. What I was trying to say is, I have a really cool, I'm gonna say fun. I have a fun call tomorrow. Exciting. That's the word I'm looking for. Have an exciting call tomorrow. And everyone on there has like a management and a whole team, and they're all professional. And like, there I am in my childhood bedroom, no management, literally like no one vouching for me. And it's been a whole process. There have been like many interviews for this. There have been many contracts signed. There have been many emails back and forth. Like, I know that I deserve this. And I didn't know that when I first started this process. And tomorrow, when I go onto that call, I'm going to be able to go in with so much confidence that I didn't have on the first call, because I know that I'm valuable. I know that I have been chosen for this role specifically because of who I am as an individual and like what I bring to the table. And sometimes you actually just have to remind yourself of that, and as hard as it may be, like, you will eventually believe it. And I think that might help with imposter syndrome. Next one is a piercing tour, pain and recovery rating 2. So I don't have all of my piercings in right now, but let's take a look at this ear. So wait, let me put that curl behind my ear. So I have my tragus pierced. That was like a fucking painful experience. Like, you hear the pop, you can't wear earphones for ages, but it did heal quite nicely, I'll be real with you. But it just, like, it throbs, and I get really bad cluster headaches. Like, I'm on medication for cluster headaches, and that's what that felt like, but in my ear. But, like, it's cute. Like, pain is temporary, sexy is forever. That's how I think about it. And then I have my, wait, what is this? Is this my Deets? Wait, or is that my, yeah, no, that's my Deets. Have my Deets pierced, have this cute ring in it. That's caused me some problems. I've had it pierced twice. First time I got it got pierced way too close to the surface, so it just fell out. Because your skin grows, apparently. So it just fell out. But it's really not that painful of a piercing. I'm just a bitch. Then I have this surface one here. I literally just copied Florence Pugh because she had it, and I was like, that's cute as fuck. Oh my god, you can see my mustache. Anyway, that one wasn't really painful. And then I have 3 cartilage piercings that aren't in, only one hoop is in. And then I have one here. These all didn't really hurt. And then I have 4 lobe piercings. They don't hurt. Oh wait, I'm meant to be rating them. Okay. Traeger's solid 9 out of 10. My Deets, I'd say like a 7 out of 10. Ew, it's crusting. Sorry, I'm disgusting. Anyways, the flat piercing, like a 6, 7 out of 10. Cartilage piercings, I'd give them like a 4. Lobe piercings, a 2. I used to have my nose pierced. I don't know why I did this. Used to have my nose pierced. I've had it pierced 3 times. Definitely one of the most I'm gonna sit down. It's definitely one of the most painful piercings I've ever had. However, before I got my nipples pierced, because my mom doesn't know, I would have said that my nose was the most painful, but these bad boys were. This is like a solid 10 out of 10. My nose, 9.5. And then on this ear, we have, let me put this here. We have multiple cartilage piercings again, so same rating. And then my rook, that was definitely a bitch to pierce. I give that like an 8. This one here, what's this called? Like an inner helix? I don't know. That's like a 4. My conch, a 9. That shit was painful. Also got infected and I got put in hospital. And then I have 5 lobe piercings on here, so same rating. Yeah, that's it. People always ask about my piercings, but I don't really wear them anymore. I know, I used to have like 24 in. Now I think I have like maybe 18. So should probably get back on that because I do think they look cool. Okay, so there's another question about uni, which I'm going to answer, and then I'm going to end this bad boy here. So someone said, do you have any feelings of regret about leaving uni, or was it worth it for, at the very least, mental health? I don't regret it. I really do try and live my life with no regrets. I think it happened for a reason. I think it happened the way it did because of the way life is meant to pan out. What the answer is, I don't know. But I am holding on to fate and hope and trust in the universe. But I am so much happier since I dropped out. Like, I just feel like I can breathe again. I feel like there was so much pressure in such an unknown time that I just really couldn't handle, on top of like already being depressed prior to uni. And it's given me time to like focus on me and figure out what I want to do and like put myself first. So no, I don't regret it. And I do feel like the reason why I dropped out has like proved itself, if that makes sense. Like, I've managed to like give myself time to heal and like look after myself. So yeah, no regrets. We'll just see what the future brings. But I've been talking for a while and I'm sweating, so I'm gonna end this video here. If you guys want another Q&A anytime soon, let's do that. Let me know. I kind of want to do like a girly talk one. So yeah, just let me know, and I hope you enjoyed. Thanks for watching!